Hello students, we will continue our discussion on module 2, that is gas turbines and jet propulsion. We have already seen gas turbines. Now the jet propulsion is there, and here only theory part is there in jet propulsion. So we will look at the four theory parts in this. Okay. So jet propulsion is the driving forward of a body by means of a jet of gas or fluid. So jet propulsion means driving the body by means of a jet of gas or fluid. See, Newton's laws of motion, third law of motion says that for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So this is jet propulsion is based on the principles of Newton's third law of motion. The propulsive thrust is produced by the reaction of an energized stream of elastic fluid expanding and exhausting through a nozzle. See, like when a burnt fuel is burnt, then it becomes an energized stream of elastic fluid. Okay, and when you expand and exhaust it through a nozzle, what we have seen in the previous module number 5, that when you are exhausting through a nozzle, then the pressure energy and the heat energy is converted into velocity. That we know when it is exhausted through nozzle. So this way, the jet propulsion works on the Newton's third law, principle of Newton's third law of motion, and we use uh, the reaction force of a like a burnt fuel, okay, and which is exhausted through a nozzle. So this produces the propulsive thrust. There are generally two types of jet propulsion. One is air breathing, which run within the air atmosphere in the earth, and another is a non-air breathing, like the rockets, which go beyond the earth's atmosphere. Air breathing engine use oxygen from the atmosphere for the combustion of fuel. They include turbojet, turboprop, ramjet, and pulsejet. So we will see this turbojet, turboprop, and ramjet in my three classes subsequently. Non-air breathing engines carry an oxygen supply. So when the rockets go beyond the atmosphere, there is no air there. So they need to carry their oxygen supply. They can be used both in the atmosphere and in outer spaces. So these type of jet propulsion can be used in atmosphere or beyond in the outer space. They are commonly called rockets and are of two kinds. One is liquid propellant and another is solid propellant. So depending on the propellant, that is a fuel, whether it is a solid fuel or liquid fuel, we call them as solid propellant and liquid propellant. So in this next four talks, I will be going through one by one. First, I will go through the turbojet propulsion, then turboprop propulsion, ramjet propulsion, and the last one we will be discussing about the rockets. So these are a very important part because for most of the examinations, this theory part is asked, and you need to draw neat sketches. When you should be very perfect in drawing the sketches, and one not only sketch, you have to draw how the air enters, how the air combustion takes place, and how the exhaust goes out, as well as you have to name all the components of the jet propulsion, whether it is turbojet, turboprop, ramjet, or rocket. And then you can write 5 to 10 lines describe about the functioning of the jet propulsion. So that will be good for you. I hope you will practice all these sketches, and for assignments also kindly write all these uh, independently in a single page, different pages, all these four jet propulsions. Okay, thank you.